Good evening, welcome to the English News Bulletin. My name is Olive Nete, and now to the news in details. The RPF's Paul Kagame has continued to campaign in the Eastern Province, where he has stressed that Rwandans should never again have to flee their country and instead go abroad willingly and return at the time of their choosing, if that is what they want. We have details with Serge Nore.
Sunday's campaign activities began in Nyagatare town and saw thousands of supporters gather from Nyagatare district itself and neighboring Gatsibo. The area has great historical significance, having witnessed the mass exodus of Rwandans who fled persecutions over the decades of bad leadership that once marked the country, as well as being the point at which the struggle to liberate the country began when that time came. Now, however, the message from the incumbent in the presidential race is that people should not have to forcibly go and are free to return whenever they want. Feel free to leave whenever you want to do your business abroad and come back when you are ready to. I am fortunate to be in the position to ensure that all that was sacrificed during the liberation struggle does not go to waste, that those who died did not do so in vain. Please note, therefore, that when given the opportunity to live another day, you should also have the responsibility to make sure that others also get the same opportunity you got to see another sunrise.
Ugomba gukora igituma nejo zaramuka ndetse n'abandi bakaramuka.
The local residents of Nyagatare and Gatsibo districts commended the developmental progress the area has been able to make over the decades, especially when it comes to infrastructure, and therefore say they intend to vote for the RPF party in the coming general elections. Later in the day, the presidential candidate took his message to Kayonza district, where local residents from Kayonza, Rwamagana, Gatsibo and Goma districts had gathered to hear his message. There too, people vowed to vote for the RPF Inkotanyi party in droves, and Paul Kagame vowed to continue delivering as the head of state, urging them in turn to continue showing confidence in his abilities as a leader.
Kayonza rero mureba irahantu heza.
This district of Kayonza is in a strategic position, and we will work together as neighbors to continue building it up progressively. There is nothing that you will need of me that I will not deliver to you.
Kandi nanjye ntacyo muzamburana.
The RPF candidate urged the local residents of the Eastern Province in general to go to the polls understanding that elections mean democracy, but to also cast their votes responsibly, not forgetting the terrible history the country had to endure because of bad and incompetent leaders. The future is yours, so remember to be lions and not dogs during this process. Paul Kagame is scheduled to hold his next campaign rally in Gicumbi district of the Northern Province on Tuesday.
Thank you, Serge. Now, still on campaign matters, the Democratic Green Party of Rwanda has been campaigning in the districts of Nyaruguru and Nyamagabe in the Southern Province, where the presidential candidate Frank Habineza has told local residents that if they vote for him, he will ensure that their districts get many milk processing plants, as well as facilities to process other agricultural produce. We have details.
In both districts, the Green Party saw supporters come out to hear the message of its presidential candidate, as well as candidates it has submitted in the parliamentary elections. And again, Frank Habineza's address focused on stressing that everything that was promised in the last campaign by the party was delivered through advocacy, such as the upgraded road to Kibeho. His message also included future objectives. We know that in this area you have many cows and a lot of milk, but we also know that you do not have any processing plants, which we intend to work to rectify and not stop there, because we believe that you also need a manufacturing facility for dairy products. Such a facility should provide employment to all sorts of people, including the youth. I also know that you grow many potatoes, but they too appear to go to waste. So we also intend to address that. What you grow should not go to waste. Those who came out to hear Frank Habineza expressed confidence in his ability to deliver as a leader, pointing out some of the Green Party's advocacy efforts while in Parliament, and noting that he would be in a far better position as President of the Republic to have an even greater impact in the near future. On Monday, the Democratic Green Party of Rwanda will be campaigning in the districts of Bugesera and Kicukiro.
Moving ahead, on Sunday, independent presidential candidate Mpayimana Philip campaigned to Rwandans living in the diaspora through an online platform. During his campaign, he promised that if elected, he would reform policies concerning Rwandans in the diaspora by 80%. We have details. Independent presidential candidate Philip Mpayimana campaigned online to Rwandans living across various continents, including Africa, Asia, America and Europe.
ingingo nebyiri ya mbere n'eshatu ya mbere no gusigasira ibyagezweho ariko amavugurura nyashyira imbere ubwo rero
I have three main objectives: preserving past achievements, giving priority to reforms, and implementing a policy for Rwandans living in the diaspora. I want this policy to have a difference of at least 80% change compared to those used previously. My goal is for Rwandans living abroad, especially those involved in politics, to engage in ways that relate to Rwanda. This is why some of the necessary reforms in embassies must ensure that Rwandans living in the diaspora can connect and work together. While embassies already facilitate this, I want it to be their top priority. Therefore, I propose that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation be renamed to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Rwandans living in the diaspora.
He also pledged that if elected, he would prioritize efforts to establish a united Africa aimed at addressing regional challenges effectively.
Resolving the insecurity issue in the DRC will lead to the devaluation of terrorist groups such as the FDLR. Rwandans around the world who might fear attacks from the FDLR will understand that Rwanda and Congo have restored relations, thereby eliminating issues between the two countries. This is an issue I want the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to address by helping people to understand that we are all Africans. We would also request the Democratic Republic of Congo to grant an identity for its own residents. For example, if I became president, I would freely grant a Congolese person the identity of being Rwandan without any hindrances. I want Rwandans living in the diaspora to change their mindsets and see Rwanda as the heart of Africa, connecting Africans without barriers and hindrances caused by borders.
The campaign activities of independent presidential candidate Philip Mpayimana continues, with plans to campaign in Gakenke and Rulindo districts on Monday. Moving ahead, the Social Democratic Party has assured residents in Rulindo and Nyamasheke districts that if elected, they will focus on developing infrastructure and enhancing environmental preservation. Adam Squizera has the details.
On Sunday, this party continued their campaign rally of their parliamentary candidates in Rulindo, Huye, Nyamasheke, Nyamagabe and Goma districts. Members of the Social Democratic Party, PSD, in Nyamasheke appreciate several achievements under the leadership of the RPF flag bearer, Paul Kagame. They expressed their intent to vote for him, as well as the 59 PSD parliamentary candidates in the upcoming elections. For those who studied in Rubavu, we used to travel a long route from Kigali, Ruhengeri to Rubavu. Now, it takes only 4 to 5 hours via the Kivu Belt route. It has made transporting our goods much easier. The PSD party has 60 articles in their manifesto, which include the protection and preservation of the environment and the development of the infrastructure and agriculture sector. These priorities were reiterated by PSD parliamentary candidates during their campaign rallies in Rulindo and Nyamasheke districts. Nowadays, the world is facing climate change. We must preserve our environment by terracing where necessary. In agriculture, we aim to develop the production of multiplied seeds and make them locally available, helping farmers to access them more easily. The residents have expressed their readiness to vote for the PSD parliamentary candidates. They believe that goals and objectives outlined by these candidates align with their needs and priorities. In the health sector, we want them to advocate for an increase in health posts and their services, so residents can easily access health care. The Social Democratic Party PSD emphasized the need to increase the number of women in decision-making positions highlighting their proven abilities over the past 30 years. Adam Squizera, reporting for RwandaTV News in the northern province of Rwanda.
Thank you, Adams, for the details. Now to health matters. Rwanda has set a goal to reduce maternal mortality from the current rate of 203 deaths per 100,000 mothers to 70 by the year 2030. Health experts emphasize that achieving this goal is feasible through rigorous adherence to and enhancement of established measures. Take a look. At the Kinyinya Health Center, located in the Gasabo district of Kigali City, like many other health centers and health facilities, in morning hours, you find women arriving for antenatal care. They seek to monitor their health and that of their unborn babies. I came to the hospital for antenatal checkups. I believe it to be important because I get to know mine and my baby's health condition. Antenatal visits have increased from 4 to 8 times, enhancing monitoring of maternal and fetal health. More women now opt for hospital births, contributing to improved maternal health outcomes. Midwives like Beat Nyirabititaweho emphasize that new equipment at Kinyinya Health Center enables better care for pregnant women. At times, a pregnant woman may arrive at the hospital in good condition and everything seems to progress well, including timely contractions. However, complications can arise during childbirth, leading to fetal distress. Previously, babies would often die immediately because they needed oxygen and we didn't have enough equipment. Now, we can help them immediately. We use a warming lamp to make them feel as if they are still in their mother's womb and then continue with other procedures to save the baby's life. These measures are part of Rwanda's government efforts to reduce maternal and infant mortality. They include decentralizing health services through community health workers, health posts, health centers, and hospitals. Leaders from health centers in the city of Kigali emphasize that investments in enhancing medical facility capacity have produced positive outcomes.
We now have methods to help children with pneumonia, which we previously lacked. We also have oxygen machines that assist in cases of pneumonia, especially when children have difficulty breathing. These machines are used while waiting for ambulances to transport the children to higher level hospitals. For pregnant women, we recently received additional midwives, though their number is still insufficient. Additionally, there is a new mentorship program where personnel from hospitals come to train staff at the health centers about new techniques and guidelines. This program ensures that the health center staff stay updated through continuous mentorship. Statistics also show that women participating in prenatal care increased from 27% in 2000 to 93% in 2020. In 2020, 98% of expectant mothers participated in prenatal screening programs. Under 5 years of age, mortality declined from 196 deaths per 1,000 live births to 45 deaths per 1,000 live births in 2020. Over the same period, the infant mortality rate declined from 107 to 33 deaths per 1,000 live births, and the neonatal mortality rate decreased from 44 to 19 deaths per 1,000 live births. Additionally, most women are delivering from health facilities from 27% in 2000 up to 93% in 2020. Also, around 98% of pregnant women were followed in antenatal care in 2020. Dr. Ndahindwa Vedast, a health expert and professor at the University of Rwanda, attributes these achievements to good governance and collaboration among various institutions. He notes that the implemented measures have swiftly generated significant positive outcomes.
Hari indwara zari zugarije umwana n'abanyarwanda muri rusange ngo tunibuka n'uyu munsi abantu bose barabibona ngira ngo n'umuturage yabihamye.
There have been many improvements. Children and Rwandans in general were once prone to various diseases. For example, malaria, a disease caused by the Anopheles mosquito. It used to claim many lives, including those of pregnant women and children. Eradicating malaria required immense effort. Additionally, people used to take medications without going to hospital, but significant efforts have been made to bring services closer to the people. Health centers have been built, and we now also have health posts. Another notable achievement is the establishment of community-based health insurance. Rwanda is among the few countries in the world that have successfully established such a system, which has lasted for a considerable period. Initially, people thought it would be short-lived, but now residents see its importance. I attribute all of these achievements to good governance and the visionary leadership of the country.
Dr. Ndahindwa believes that achieving the 2030 goal of reducing maternal mortality to 70 deaths per 100,000 mothers is feasible through sustained implementations and enhancement of current measures. During a recent meeting between the head of state and community health workers, the Minister of Health emphasized the 4x4 strategy aimed at expanding the health workforce to address ongoing sector challenges. Dr. Sabin Sanzimana, the Minister of Health, highlighted the plan to quadruple medical personnel, particularly by increasing the number of midwives, currently insufficient, to effectively lower maternal and child mortality rates.
Hari gahunda twatangiye kane gukuba kane 4x4.
We recently started the 4x4 program, and it is being carried out successfully. This year we exceeded our target, reaching 146% of our goal. The program's aim is to have more personnel with enhanced skills. We have placed a particular emphasis on midwives, as we previously had few. Our goal is to more than quadruple their number. This year alone, we will receive 1,000 more midwives, adding up to the 2,000 that we had. This increase will help us significantly reduce maternal and infant mortality.
Statistics show that every day in 2020, almost 800 women died from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. Between 2000 and 2020, the maternal mortality dropped by about 34% worldwide. Currently, the world's target is that by 2030, at least this number should decrease to less than 70% per 100,000 live births. According to the World Health Organization, achieving the target of a global maternal mortality ratio of 70 maternal deaths per 100,000 live births by 2030 requires an annual reduction rate of 11.6%. More news. The 2023 Rule of Law Index of the World Justice Project placed Rwanda on the first position on the African continent, as well as low-income countries globally. We have details.
The index cited several reasons for Rwanda being placed top, pointing to an intolerance for corruption, there being good security, a strong tourism sector, and a vibrant investment atmosphere with fairness to all investors when arbitration takes place. Globally, the country is ranked 41st out of 142 countries with 0.63, while countries like Namibia and Mauritius are in the 44th and 46th positions respectively.
The significance is very important. It's very important not only for Rwanda, but also for the region. This means that Rwanda is a place to stay. Rwanda is a place to invest. Rwanda is a place to visit. You would feel safe to visit a country where there is safety, where people can move. You would be safe to visit a country where you can open business within an hour. You would be safe to visit a country whereby you don't have to run up in courts when you're an investor, but there are mechanisms put in place for alternative dispute resolution. You would be very safe and happy, especially in Africa and low developing countries, to visit a country where there is less bribery, where there is no corruption, and whereby you will get a service because you merit it. All these reasons would make Rwanda open for any other person, whether an investor, or a visitor that is coming to Rwanda.
Technology and mediation have greatly facilitated in the disbursement of justice here in Rwanda.
They can file court online, they can access their cases online, they can access judgments online, they can ask for execution of their judgments online. So all that is something that cements the rule of law in this country. But not only the rule of law, but in that aspect, so the way the courts operate, they're not only in the classical way of dispensing justice, but we've introduced a lot of other items or other aspects in the dispensation of justice. For instance, court annexed mediation that is doing very well in the courts. For instance, plea bargaining that is also picking up in the institutions of justice, in the prosecution, in the courts, and elsewhere. So all these, I would say, are mirrored in these researches that definitely cement or really show that the rule of law in the country is really doing very well in that aspect.
Denmark, Norway and Finland lead all countries globally on the index, while the DRC was the worst performer on the African continent in the 138th position, and Haiti, Afghanistan, as well as Cambodia in the bottom positions.
And this story brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. Thank you for being part of our news today. Have a fruitful week ahead.